Hello, so today we're going to discuss how you can find your community members. And before doing that, it's important to build a strong foundation. And you do this by defining your community vision and mission because people are strongly motivated by connection, a sense of belonging, and meaning. So think about the digital tools that you can use to deliver that vision and empower people to gather, share, and build towards that goal. So communities these days exist in many different forms, so make sure that you also understand how you can deliver and exceed your user expectations. So what does it look like in practice? So let's take, for example, a product like Wikipedia. So its product mission is to provide everyone free access to information. Its community mission is to ensure that they can create and maintain this online encyclopedia where information is stored. So in order to do this, they have built editing tools to empower its community and then set guidelines to manage expectations of people around the world. And all of these play a role in helping you champion your cause, especially when you're just starting to invite people into your community. So, on top of having a sense of belonging, you need to understand the components of a strong community. And this includes being accessible, inclusive, and underlined by a spirit to help others. So, when people share more openly, good relationships and trust form. And all of these are good signs that you are building a good foundation. One common mistake when building communities is thinking that you can just set up a group and wait for it to grow. You have to understand that you need to build with intention. It must be designed, cultivated, and nurtured in order to grow. So, at this point, we talked about vision, components, and building with intention. Now let's go and find them. One framework that you can use is this path to 100 mindset. And you can adjust the numbers for each of these buckets on the next screen. And these are just representation of growth, which may vary depending on your products or services. So let's say, for example, that you're starting from scratch. When you're reaching out to your first five members, what you can do is you can share your vision and mission, the problem that you're trying to solve, and the potential solutions that you have. So what you're doing this, you're opening the connection between you and the first five individual members. As you move on to the next stage, you can then ask for referrals so that more people can join your group. You can have a discussion and open sharing of challenges, and what you're doing right now is you're opening the pathway, not just between you and the member, but between different members too. As you move forward to the 40 members, what you can do is you can start creating a content calendar to schedule different topics every week to make sure that you have high engagement. During this phase, you can also start looking for moderators and leaders, so you can find people that can help assist you in executing your plans. Finally, as you move toward the 100, you may also start looking at a more quantitative set of data, such as quote retention and NPS score. So this is a high-level overview, and within each bucket, there are a lot of activities that you can do that you can add to your plan. Ask yourself, what are the set of activities that is relevant to my product and services, and then create an action plan for yourself and for your community members. So what does that mean? So let's go back and say that you're looking for your first five, right? In doing this, you need to understand the people's aspirations, challenges, and motivations. So are you solving a problem for parents, working professionals, or another segment? If so, how and when are they spending their time? Check out these places online and offline and invite them for group discussion. Finally, define a small ask that you can make off to get some level of commitment. There's this concept of community commitment curve that you can also apply. So this describes the level of commitment based on where they are in terms of the journey. So for example, at the very beginning of discovery and onboarding, you cannot just expect people to go out of their way to attend a 2-day workshop if they have no idea who you are. You may want to start by asking them to sign up for email newsletters or read an article, and you can also use this as a way for you to introduce yourself or your products to them. You can then start asking for more information as you move towards the next stage. Again, These set of activities can change, and the key thing here is to understand that your goal is not to force community members to deliver something when they are not yet ready. So, as you're doing this, it's also an opportunity for you to bring them along the journey. So what does that mean? When you build a product, you go through a company or product lifecycle, and you can find ways to engage your community members. So let's look at the case study of a company called Product Hunt, which curates the list of best new products and posts it every day. So its founder, Ryan Hoover, said before they even launch, they already started acquiring users who also help them give feedback. And by the time that they launch, they already have 2,000 users celebrating their success. And it all started with doing things that don't scale. So doing all of these will allow you to find your community members, but also attract people who are willing to support your cause. So in terms of product lifecycle, you can think of it this way. During the prototype stage, what they did is collect a list of email lists and put it together in a distribution. They started getting referral links of products that can be added to the catalog. So they invited a few founders, investors, and startup friends who can help contribute to that. And along the way, they started collecting more feedback, and that got people excited because they feel that they're part of the product building process. And as they move closer to the beta stage, what happened is they end up releasing a prototype or a custom software product and got 100 of these people to test it within a week. And as a result, as they move closer to the launch, they're not really starting from zero. They already have a set of people who understand what they're doing, which allow them to launch successfully. So in summary, in finding your community members, there's a couple of things that you can do. One is build the foundation by defining your community vision and mission. It's important that you articulate that clearly as you're reaching out to individuals so that you get their buy-in to join your cause. After that, use a set of frameworks that best apply to your work. So we covered two, a path to 100 and then the community commitment curve. So create a path and apply these best practices to make sure that you're moving your community member from one stage to the next. And then finally, build trust. So bring them along your journey and empower your community members. You can co-design your product regardless of which stage you are in. You just need to understand what set of activities and what set of activities you can do, and then how to motivate them to take action accordingly. So thank you. That is the high-level view of how you can find your community members.